Crypto Hour of Power man himself, Brandon.
orangebrickroad.com.au.
Look at that go. Hey, guess what? You're in the studio, mate. Fantastic to see you. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, wish the feeling was mutual.
And the fact that you thought I was genuine. I love that.
It's good to be back. Hey, occasionally I make it actually in the studio as opposed to the phone, so I get nice to see you in person, brother.
Oh, mate, and I always dress up just for you. Right?
Yes, you do. All right.
Now, we may or may not. I certainly hope we've got someone on the line there. Have we got Ian on the line from the East Coast?
I am. Can you hear me?
There we go. Oh, he's so silent. I'll tell you right now. Were you just trying to pull the mickey out of me there, Ian? Come on.
Yeah, just teasing.
Yeah.
Well done. You've certainly achieved your goals for the day. Great to have you on board. And look, let's listen to more of Brandon's monologue, mate. Of your incredible
intro.
No. Let's just get into it. Absolutely.
Okay.
Tell us more about Ian anyway before we ask Ian to advertise himself.
Yeah, we're going to go into a whole bunch of stuff, basically into sort of economics and how that kind of works, and then sort of go into the crypto, being a crypto show. Be covering all types of efforts. Like I said in the preamble, when you were getting your stuff together. See, I didn't swear then.
Yeah, nice. I'm impressed. Very professional of you. Yeah.
I get a Tim Tam. We're just going into just all areas really. So how we normally start things, Ian, first off, welcome to the show, mate. And what we first off do is sort of just dust off the old resume, give us a bit of background on where you're from, and then a bit of background on how you got to where you are and what you're currently doing. So over to you, Ian.
Yeah, thanks. Great to be here. I started in 1988 as a junior bond trader for an American bank, and then became a currency market maker, foreign exchange. Did that for quite a bit of time, even traded my own money on the London International Financial Futures floor. I then retired and came to Australia with my wife, who I met at the bank, at one of the banks. And then we had 6 kids, so I rapidly unretired myself.
So get a TV.
That's right.
After 6, I worked that one out. Thank you. And have been earning a living, trading, obviously, investing in tech startups, and, of course, as of 2017, in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies.
Right. Well, there's a bit to unpack there. Let's start off with what's a bond trader?
So government issues bonds to borrow money from the market, has to distribute those bonds to investors. So traders either take on those bonds directly from the government or make a secondary market to bonds that need to be resold. So we buy and sell government bonds or even corporate bonds.
And that's how normally a government raises money, right?
Yeah, that's right. So they have to go and get it off investors. Investors speak to banks. Banks have obviously the mandate to distribute those government bonds. They're called primary dealers in America. So there's a big thing about how you buy and sell government bonds under certain conditions.
Okay.
And, of course, probably get the job to do that, because if the government wants to issue some bonds and they can't issue any of them, the bank has to buy them all. So we're underwriters as well to some extent.
Right. Actually, a question on this little side note. I actually literally this morning was listening to a guy who was talking finance about the US, who was a journalist, so he clearly knows a lot about finance, right? Yes. And he was saying, tongue-in-cheek there, he was basically saying that the Trump tariffs have really affected the bond market. Can you explain why that would be the case?
Yeah, so the output of that conversation is lack of liquidity, because if you're a primary dealer and the US government has already issued $37 trillion worth of debt, and suddenly you're putting tariffs on other countries in a really unstructured way, i.e. we don't know what it's going to be one day to the next. Are you going to take it back tomorrow and renegotiate? All the sort of nonsense that Trump's putting over social media. You don't want to be owning a lot of bond issues when other countries, because of high tariffs, might have to sell their US bonds.
So it's more about uncertainty.
Well, it is, yeah, it's about uncertainty. But really, it's about the narrative. So if we said Japan they're the biggest holder of US bonds, if they had to sell all of their bonds, the market would price that in perfectly because that's what markets do. What we can't price in is not knowing. So what's the tariff rate going to be? How's Japan going to react with the constant toing and froing on social media and all this nonsense? So the bond market is saying, we're not going to sell your bonds for you unless you get your act together.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I want to just simplify that a bit more. All right. Say I've got $10,000 and I buy $10,000 worth of bonds from the government or whomever. I'm obviously going to be expecting a return. Some sort of interest and all that sort of stuff. How does that return get generated? Like, how do I make money off it? Does the government invest it somewhere and then gets a return and I get a percentage? Or how do I actually get my ROI?
And no, the government doesn't invest it anywhere apart from its various schemes to get re-elected. When normally, 99% of the time, you buy a government bond, it says it's going to pay you, to name a number, 6% on the capital you put in every year and then repay you at maturity.
But how do they generate that 6%?
It's normally set as an auction, as the government says, look, we need to borrow, $500 million at 10 years. So we need 10 years expiry. So the market knows the kind of benchmark where that's going to be priced. So if it's 5.5%, if it's 6%, and it goes into an auction and it gets filled down to the lowest bid, in which case everybody gets the lowest rate, i.e. price, not yield.
Yeah, I don't want to get bogged down in the weeds or anything like that, but who buys these bonds? Is it companies? Is it like superannuation people or whatever? Because inflation in my mind is between sort of 7 to 9%.
Yeah.
And realistically, I think it's more like about 8 to 12%. And a government bond's only given 6. Who in their right mind would buy one?
Well, firstly, banks have to buy them, and lots of them, to keep in. They have certain ratios which they have to keep in Tier 1 assets, i.e. cash-like equivalents, which the government has decided are their own treasury bonds. So that's one place where a lot of bonds get bought. Secondly, insurance companies like to match their balance sheet liabilities with those assets. So they have a mechanism by which they're hedged. So to answer your question, lots of people have to buy them.
Yeah, look, I thought it was little old ladies basically, but it really does. I didn't actually know the thing about the banks. Obviously, the banks, leverage money like you can't believe. They literally lend 100 times what they hold with depositors. Is this part of the great Ponzi scheme, I guess, of
fiat
how
money.
they're allowed to do it with fiat money?
Yeah. Absolutely.
I love the pause.
Trying to think of a longer answer, and the answer is yes. Yes. So basically the government legislates, puts in law that certain people must buy their shitcoin, really. What an ecosystem.
Yeah, that's right. And so they call it the risk-free rate, even though it has obviously the credit risk of whichever government you're talking about, which isn't zero. And they write these bond purchases into every level of financial agreement available, from you putting some money in a bank to getting a loan for a car to mortgages. It all gets collateralized with bonds, which is where the danger is. So, yes, it's fantastic for everyone while that works. But if you suddenly find yourself insolvent and $37 trillion in debt, then it all could go wrong really quickly.
Yeah, that's the thing about things that collapse. Yeah. They happen really slowly over time and then all of a sudden.
That's right.
You know,
it's an avalanche. Yeah.
Where do you see the financial markets? I mean, like every government, we're not just talking about America, but obviously America's over leveraged, but Australian government as well. Like, it just seems like a free for all. Like, and they're heading towards a cliff, and they're just going, "All right, we're going to go off the cliff anyway. We might as well do a little burn along the way, and have a little laugh or something." Where do you see the US dollar? Like, is it possible? I mean, you see countries collapse with their dollar all the time. Well, not all the time, but quite consistently doing these sorts of things. Where do you see the American dollar?
So let's say in the last 6 months, it's gone down 15%.
Yep.
So that process is other countries trying to get out of dollar transactions. So the US dollar is, as I was alluding to just now, in every transaction basically that's made. And that you can't get away from that system unless you create another system.
Yeah.
Because of people like me who used to make markets in the US dollar against other currencies. So you see, just for news today, China signed an agreement with Egypt that they will settle trades directly in yuan.
Yeah.
So there's one way, but you've got to do it systematically across the world.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So it has to be a group consensus, because I know that China and Russia are looking at doing their own thing.
Well, the BRICS nations, obviously. Yeah.
So they're looking at separating. So you were saying that you sort of need a mass exodus, really, of the American dollar before it would lose a lot of value to a point of collapse.
I'm kind of saying that it's difficult for it to totally collapse.
Yeah.
Unless there's another banking system of foreign exchange traders to replace it.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, let's go into that a bit, because you said that you worked on the foreign exchange desk. What is a foreign exchange desk? Explain it to Aaron, because he's not very bright.
Yes. Small words, please.
Yes, small words.
Okay. So in foreign exchange, banks deal with other banks. So it's wholesale transactions. So we wouldn't want to do a transaction less than $5 million US.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a team of normally 8 people sitting around this desk, and one of us makes the price in the currency of that desk. Let's call it dollar yen for the sake of argument.
Okay.
And the bank has a price, and part of the balance sheet of the bank is carved out so that we can quote anybody, i.e. wholesale, at any time in any amount, and a very small spread, so that all of the transactions in a currency go through very few numbers of banks at any one time, because the people that deal with us are other banks that aggregate positions during the day and get rid of it with us overnight or during the day or as they need to. But obviously they're dealing with currency shops at airports, people buying a unit in a different country, all the stuff that goes on.
Sure.
And it ends up with basically 5 to 10 banks in a currency pair that are basically doing the price discovery. And if you want to know how much volume goes through, in London every day, $5 trillion US changes hands.
Amazing.
Every day.
Every day.
That's just US dollars.
That's just US dollars. So if you were to try and replicate that system in yuan or rubles, you've got to have a similar mechanism to change hands at wholesale rates with a system of counterparties, clustered ways of settling against other counterparties, all sorts of stuff set up, financial rules, accounting rules, all sorts of stuff set up to do that. So everyone thinks that we can just jump to another banking system, but it's going to be really difficult to get out of.
All right. So all I've heard so far is that the governments talk to the banks, and the banks talk to the governments, and the governments talk to the banks, and the banks talk to the governments. And they've got their own little internal circle.
This is interesting, and we need to go to a break. So I'm going to throw this out, and maybe Ian, if you could come back with this information, I'm going to ask you. Okay, so currently, right now, 2025. 45% of the population of the earth, right, is now in the BRICS nations, right? 45%. Now, obviously, the big money is still in the US, but that's a big percentage, right? So if we were looking at someone who was going to take another sort of system on, there's a big one. And of course, what are we here for? We're talking about crypto, and crypto is taking part of it. That is becoming an emerging sort of currency as well as an investment, right?
Yep, 100%. Not financial advice, educational purposes only, but everyone buy Bitcoin. All right, go to the break.
Let's go to a song.
Curious about cryptocurrency and want to learn more? Orange Brick Road offers expert crypto consulting and online courses to help you understand the exciting world of crypto. Whether you're a beginner or an experienced crypto user, Orange Brick Road can help you gain the knowledge and confidence you need to succeed. Take the first step towards mastering crypto with Orange Brick Road at orangebrickroad.com.au. Yesterday was the best day to learn crypto. Today is the second.
Jungle in here, and some of the conversations we have, mate, when the tunes are playing.
I know, because we don't get to catch up very much. You know what I mean? So as soon as the song's going, we're like, hey, how you been? Ramble on. And then we're just about to go live. He's like, we're about to go live. And we're like, oh, where did we finish off? We both couldn't remember. So,
Ian, this is on you, mate. Now, where were we in our conversation just a tick ago?
Yeah, so we were talking about bankrupt Western system with overcomplicated foreign exchange, etc., versus 45% of the world in BRICS nations without that system or resources. Why would anybody bother when we have an internet and you can make a currency of the internet?
Yes.
Cool.
I'm glad. Thank you for being here, Ian. I appreciate that, mate, because it got us back on track.
Well, we have smart people on. They keep us in check.
Mate, well, to me, that is such a big thing. Okay, so I'm big on people finding their freedom, right? And to my mind, crypto, in my eyes, is such an avenue for freedom because we need money. Okay, we need things. Financial independence is important stuff. And when you look at the fact of stepping away from the fiat system, okay, the traditional system where they're just printing money and the maths for me, for those bonds you're talking about, just makes no sense. Like, to me, that is just going backwards, right?
Yeah.
Like here, it's basically saying, here's my nice car, here's my Porsche, right? Go drive it like buggery, just run into the ground, then hand it back to me and I'll pay for the repairs. You're going backwards.
No harm, no foul.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's right. And, what people are looking for is, in my opinion, I haven't done a survey of the entire Western population.
That's next week, yeah.
We'll spend a bit more time on that. But what people are looking for is a store of value, like something that's not going to depreciate.
Yep.
It's like, it's good to have nice things in life. Like you can have a nice, I'll give this example because I've lived it, right, is buy a nice, very expensive BMW, right? And the thing just costs you money.
That's right.
Every time you look at it, it costs you money. And then it depreciates like you wouldn't believe, right?
Yep.
Now, it's all right to have luxury items like that. And also you got life expenses, obviously with Ian, he's got 6 children.
There's a lot of life expenses there.
There's at least about $1.8 million in a lifetime. But yeah, it's like, okay, cool. I have some money left over or I have some money to invest. I want to make this work for me. And in my mind, crypto is the only place to go. Right? Yeah. You got stocks, you got other sort of stuff, but I know crypto, so I stay in that lane. Mm-hmm. And until someone proves to me that there is something that is better, I'll drop crypto tomorrow. I'm not married to it. How do you feel about the whole, just about what I just said, Ian?
Well, firstly, crypto is a really exciting innovation. It's brought together the most amazing community of people wanting to change the world. Implementing it is going to be very complicated because imagine how all the tax systems of the world have to be similar or otherwise all the cash will disappear into one country.
Right.
So there are unintended consequences, but really the story of Bitcoin is amazing. And I first discovered it in 2017. The Bitcoin Maxi story was, crazy. But yes, it's played out exactly, hasn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, 100%. People were calling it crazy.
Yep.
There's going to be a mass adoption. Hedge funds are going to do it, banks are going to do it, countries are going to do it. And we're like, pipe dream. But the principles are there and it's laid in stone. It's in the white paper, the whole 9 yards.
That's right.
And people were ignoring it, and the people that were into it were like, okay, this is a possibility, but now we're actually seeing it happen.
Look, there were people who bought pizzas with it, right? And I mean, that's a very expensive pepperoni, mate. Like, you know, so I mean, what's the current price of US dollars? US dollars? Lots. Okay, it's an accurate figure. I like that.
I don't know. What is the latest price, Ian? Have you got that off the top of your head? Was it about 111?
117,000.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. Right. Wow, fantastic. All right. I mean, it is such good storage of wealth, right? Yep. Okay, we're seeing that. And it's got genuine growth. And we live in a world where, I mean, we're, blame the US on this one, but let's be frank, and particularly under the Biden years, it was just print, right? Money meant absolutely nothing. Money hasn't been on the gold standard for over 50 years now. Yeah. We're seeing something here that's like a genuine,
I don't want to sound like a defender of Biden.
No,
right?
Please don't.
And I almost just threw up my own mouth with that. But, it was early Bush. You know what I mean? With the invasion of Iraq and all that. True. They started printing like crazy, and every country's just started adopting this, because, fiat to me is the money of war. But anyways, getting distracted. Right. So where do you see Bitcoin we'll start off with Bitcoin. Where do you see Bitcoin in the future, Ian?
Price-wise or something else?
Let's start with price. And then we'll go the reasons why it will hit that price, as in adoption.
Yes, I can't see why, if you zoom out, it's not going to keep going up to some crazy number, because I think of Bitcoin as the antithesis of the fiat world. Yeah. So the more the fiat world collapses, the more the price of Bitcoin is going to go up by definition. Yeah. So it's just math, right? We don't have to consider particular hurdles with it. It's just adoption isn't a straight line. And interestingly, at the moment, I'd say I get a call every 10 minutes by someone asking me whether they should invest. Is it the top? Should I not invest here?
Yep.
And it's like, how many years are people going to wait to get in? Because they're still not getting in. So there's still so far to go, and we are still so early. And the adoption of Bitcoin in the world is something like 5%.
Yep.
Compared to, if you look where the internet went or mobile phones went, even if those numbers are wrong, which they are, no doubt, it's still really early.
Yeah, I like to get predictions and, projections and that sort of stuff, and then halve it and then go, is it worth it?
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's best to be over-conservative about these things.
Yeah, 100%.
I want to ask Ian a strange question. Okay, from the point of view, you're a money man, you live the fiat world. I mean, you're so deeply involved in that system. For you to be talking about crypto and with such positive terms, it's got to say a lot about what you've seen and look, your thoughts about it. Was there a particular moment that actually said to you, hey, look, this is the real deal, it's time to jump on board?
That's a great question. That is a really good question. Well done, brother.
Thanks, mate. Thanks. Hey. I've been practicing. I've been reading books and things. It's amazing.
A clock twice a day and all that.
That's right.
No, that's a really, really good question. Oh, sorry to interrupt, Ian. There you go.
Me now? Good. Yep. So firstly, the way that the financial system was set up was really, really clever. And really good at doing its job, i.e. to enable price discovery instantly and distribution of assets really efficiently. As we've just alluded to, since at least 2009, governments printing money rather than commercial banks printing money has gone from bad to insanely bad, ending in COVID, where it got completely out of control.
Yep.
So part of the story is about tokenization, in that why would we employ hundreds of thousands of people to settle trades when you can do it on the blockchain instantly and for everyone to see?
Yep.
So there's a big thing about dismantling a very old-fashioned but efficient system and moving into a new and transparent system. And there's also how we enable it via the internet to deliver a currency that we can all use globally. So, I mean, it's not just breaking one and creating another. There's whole loads of inefficiencies to be created and transparency to be distributed.
So that's where you see the technology sort of fulfilling the need is the holes in traditional finance. Is that right?
Well, it's not necessarily holes, although there are holes.
Or the inefficiencies.
You know, we've gone from if you look to 1960 to 2000 to, let's say 2000, the internet, you've gone from a paper-based system to a no-paper system.
Yep.
I mean, that's an astonishing change. It's like not having books and suddenly having books,
True.
or having books and suddenly having the internet. So it's a massive, massive change on top of all the other benefits.
Mm. Yeah, very true. Because I remember we used to use telephone boxes and stuff like that, and didn't have a little gadget in your hand that you just walk around and watch porn on.
Yeah. I was about to say you used to have to ask people, but now you just, got it in the palm of your hand. Well, you've got another palm that's handy, I guess. Right?
You got one that's going to be efficient.
Oh, dear. Hey, mate, it is time to jump back into a quick song. And, of course, if you're in the studio, it's got to be a bit of Aerosmith. But today, I've made the selection here. So we're back in just a tick with more Edge Radio Australia, Baby Animals.
Yeah, I used to be in love with her, eh?
Used to be. Come on, this is not past tense, mate. It is still very, very
If you're
current.
out there, I'll give you my contact Edge Radio.
Hey, Susie. Let's get on to it. Now, okay, well, maybe you might need a bit of fundage, mate. So let's get this crypto going.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, what I did want to talk about, Ian, because we do have to close this up, but I really want to get you on again because I've got a whole list of stuff that we did not cover that I'd love to pick your brains on. But just where I'm at the moment, and I've had this conversation with a few crypto people, and a lot of the old school crypto people have become Bitcoin maxis. They're not so much into the altcoins, and I'm still on the edge with that. Do you see a future for altcoins, or are you just all in on Bitcoin?
I'm all in on anything I think will gain adoption for whatever purpose. So I think that if I might digress slightly, the thing about stable coins is very distracting because where you've got the money of the future being secured by the money of the past, what's the point? So what are the use cases of those other coins? Well, if it's passing value from your Tesla to the person selling the electricity, fantastic. But that's something that's going to be very, very cheap because it's just a utility. What is going to be a store of value is a different question from what's going to get used lots. And XRP, the dreaded or favourite XRP, depending who you are, is very popular with software companies, right? Because it's made by a software company. So its adoption is likely to be ahead of the others that aren't. I'm not a fan of it, but it's true, right?
Can I break in on that? Why are you not a fan of it? Because some people just XRP, boom, boom, boom.
Because it's centralised, controlled, and it's a pus coin. Sorry to interrupt, Ian. No, I've been on the XRP army. Because I've even got clients that are XRP. That's it. Everything else is a shite coin. Right. And I've been on and off XRP and all that sort of stuff, But, I think it'd be because of corporate adoption. But anyway, sorry, Ian. Okay. If you would like to answer that instead of me.
For me, it's just about lack of clarity about how much dilution there is. It seems to be whatever they feel like, and that's because they'll want to target the price to be able to be used in any transaction. Therefore, you can't make any money out of it.
Yes, XRP army people out there, there's but you got your Bitcoin maxis and all that sort of stuff. But I am sort of getting a bit bullish. Well, I have been into Solana for a long time now, and Avalanche, Phantom, obviously Ethereum. Do you see a future for Ethereum with these other layer 2 and layer 3s coming through?
I think it's going to be very difficult to disrupt. And it becomes like the Amazon of the goods and services world, or the goods world, in that here's this nice piece of kit that distributes other people's products and yet clips the ticket every transaction. That's where I see Ethereum being extremely valuable, and where Amazon became extremely valuable. Amazon only became extremely valuable at massive scale
Yeah. Yes, because I'm on the same boat with that, because I've had a lot of people, the narrative, and there's been lots of narratives in crypto, back to the ICO boom in the 1617s, and then, the NFT booms, and then, now it's sort of the corporate booms that are coming through, and there's all the way through, there's always been, this is going to be an Ethereum killer, this is an Ethereum killer, and nothing has killed it. And if anything, there's been more adoption, more building on it, and more scaling. And it's had its problems along the way. But I'm extremely bullish on Ethereum. Are there any other coins that you kind of got your eye on?
I mean, isn't what you said just the story of Amazon as well?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so I think some of those other, I call them operating system type ones like Solana, they can be very successful for certain niches.
Yes.
So definitely bullish on those.
Yep.
Otherwise, it's really about adoption and being really cheap to start with. Like any trade, it's only really good if you buy cheap to start with, like buying a house. If you buy it cheap, then you've got every chance of selling it at a profit.
That's the thing, and it's not necessarily how good something is, it's how easy it is to adopt and how to use. I mean, like, showing my age, was it beta or in VHS?
Yeah. You are showing your age.
Right.
Well, beta was a better system.
It was a better system, but the porn industry, adopted VHS. So
that right?
It had
Is that why?
That's why the beta got killed. It was because more people were using the VHS because it was easier to build on and to use than it was, although beta was a better technology.
Okay, didn't know that. There you go.
I know everything about porn.
I bet you do.
I brought it up twice.
We've all gone very quiet on that because we've got an expert amongst us.
The crypto porn show.
But it's a funny thing. Actually, on that front, many years ago, I was actually talking to an IT expert, and they were doing different work and not going to carry on. And he said to me, the best way to actually test your internet is to go straight to a porn site because they're the ones who've got, they are. Well, I don't know. Apparently, because of the firewalls, this and that, whatever, that's the best way to test it.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, that's what he told me. Well, that's
your
excuse.
So there's a lot being built on Ethereum, and like what you're saying like earlier, and I agree with that, with Avex Phantom, Solana, Cardano, for example, these products, they seem very niche, whereas Ethereum seems to be very, got a wider network. Would you agree with that, Ian?
Yeah, and also it's how keen the network owner is to allow other people to build applications on top of it. You can make it appear easy, but it's got to actually be easy. You've got to be able to read the documentation and jump in. In a way, at a higher level, the UK has a sandbox for cryptocurrencies where they can interact with the legacy system. So a lot of coin owners should be trying to experiment with that because that's where other people drive the adoption for you. But that's not always the case.
Yeah, and that's right. This is a huge experiment at this stage, and I kind of like how it's been dictated by the free market, because I'm very much sort of Milton Friedman, Ludwig von Mises, Hans Hermann Hoppe, Murray Rothbard sort of libertarian, and that's what attracts me to crypto, is it's very much in that libertarian stage where, you got a better product, it competes, That's where I'm at with that. All right.
I get that.
Go the anarchy. Go the anarchy. All right. So, moving right on. We've got a few minutes before we have to tie things up. But like I said, Ian, I really want to get you back on again because there's a whole bunch of questions and stuff that I want to go through and just get a more of a technical understanding of how markets work and that sort of stuff. Now, don't know how much you know about this subject, but it's something I've been really, really diving into a lot is real-world assets. RWAs. Yep. And I think that is going to be like the ICO. And I mean, you had the ICO boom, the NFT, but 99% of them failed, right? But with real world assets have been around for a long time. And I think this cycle is going to be a cycle for real world assets. Where do you sit on that?
Absolutely. It's going to be the biggest, but possibly most boring money spinner for anyone.
Yeah.
Because Because you don't get to see the ebbs and flows of it. You just get to see huge sectors suddenly taken over by it.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, if it always goes up, it can't be that bad, right? But yeah, no, it's absolutely. If you look at BlackRock and they're pushing it at the moment, they know what's coming and they're getting in first.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we do a bit of work with Block Square, you know, the BST token, and what they're doing is just amazing. But it's not like, you know, okay, real world assets is on everyone's radar, but companies like Block Square and hi Julian Mini if you're out there, and they've been developing it for many, many, many years, and they're well established. And that's the thing about the real world asset things is that they're really well established. So yeah, they're not going to be a Dogecoin that's going to 10,000x, but yeah, I don't think you can lose money on it. Are you giving me the wind up?
Oh mate, I am actually. Look at that. You've read my face. I didn't even have to do the little finger thing of, you know, well, actually, I'm just not going to stop that. I'll stop where I am.
The little finger thing. All right, if we are tying things up. All right, so where can, thank you very much for your time today. And like I said, I really want to get you on again because I've got a whole bunch of questions. Where would someone get hold of you if they wanted to?
I'm in LinkedIn or at the website Suberia.capital. I'm sure you'll put those addresses on the notes.
There'll be a link there, mate. Yeah, and where can we find you, Mr. Brandon?
We'll put in the links, cuz. orangebrickroad.com.au for everything in crypto. That's about it. Once again, really love your work. I'll call you soon, Ian.
Really appreciate it.
Cheers. Bye.
Edge Radio Australia, the Crypto Hour of Power.
Crypto Hour of Power.
Hour of Power.
Power.
Curious about cryptocurrency and want to learn more? Orange Brick Road offers expert crypto consulting to help you understand the exciting world of crypto. Whether you're a beginner or an experienced crypto user, Orange Brick Road can help you gain the knowledge and confidence you need to succeed. Take the first step towards mastering crypto with Orange Brick Road at orangebrickroad.com.au. Yesterday was the best day to learn crypto. Today is the second.